down to the exhaustion of sellers. And that's exactly what we see over here. So this circled region shows you the exhaustion of sellers, right? So ICT concepts obviously do work to an extent, right? This is of course a fair value gap, right? So if I label this as a fair value gap, this is a fair value gap that's below the candle's opening price, the 4-hour candle's opening price. And to give you some more context to that, we saw a huge seller in the market, which wasn't rewarded. And so this is your first trade you could have taken, right? Because we've seen the aggressive sellers failing over here, right? This is where the aggressive sellers failed. So this is here is the absorption, right? Absorption of sellers corresponds to the trend reversing, right? I'm going to repeat that. The absorption of sellers corresponds to the trend reversing. So what's happening is when you see price trending downwards, trending lower, trending lower, trending lower, when you have a bounce up like this bounce up typically represents the rejection of sellers, right? Sellers are failing in this region. Price leaves a fair value gap. That is your first entry. So it's very important to understand that this is happening below the candle's opening, right? Below the before the 10 a.m. candle's opening price. So that would be your first trade over there, right? So of course we can see price rallies higher, right? So that's your first kind of trade. Now, the market leaves a second fair value gap, right? This FVG over here is a second fair value gap. So how can you use order flow to confirm your fair value gaps, right? Because you already know that sellers have failed in this region, right? The trend was absorbed and exhausted at this particular region. So when we just kind of play price on a little bit, we can use order flow to confirm our trades, right? We can use order flow as a confirmation. And that's what we're going to do over here, right? So if I just kind of bring this over, when price comes in